Good evening, everybody. So we'll start with public administration class. First of all, we'll talk about some little bit introduction of public administration. Okay, then we'll start our proper class. We have a syllabus also, syllabus of public administration. So as I told you that public administration is a subject that would be very useful, not only for the optional purpose, because you know that the weightage of optional paper is around 500 marks. There are two optional paper 1 and paper 2. And 250 each. If you will see the weightage of GS, in GS there are 4 GS papers, 250 each, and the weightage of GS in the mains examination is 1000. And the weightage of optional paper is 500. And there is another 250 marks for the essay paper, as you know. You may consider that out of 1750, the weightage of public administration, weightage of any other optional is only 500 marks. But you should not underestimate your optional paper. In fact, what is the meaning of optional paper? That UPSC is considering that if you have chosen one particular optional paper, that means you have full command on that paper. That is what UPSC expects. And that is why we need score in optional paper more than 300. We need to target for more than 300 in this optional paper. And you can target as big as 350 for an optional paper. But obviously, if you want to achieve that kind of score in optional paper, and if you have achieved 300 marks in optional paper, and even if you are in average in GS paper, and that means you have written some conceptually cleared, written some concepts in GS paper, still their selection would be sure. And you would get good rank also. So optional paper has definitely in fact, in GS paper, if you will say, moving for more than 100 marks would be a tougher thing. But in optional paper, out of 250, you can get more than 150 marks also. In ethics, I told you that that in out of 250, our target would be like for 150 marks. And for other GS papers, although we can achieve 150, it's not like that we cannot achieve this kind of score for other papers, but it is difficult. But for optional paper, definitely we can achieve 150 marks for each paper. And if you're getting marks in optional paper like 200 or 225 or 230 or 40, that would be a serious problem. And that is why we always target about more than 300 marks for the optional paper. That should be our target. And now if you will talk about the selection of optional paper, as I told you that public administration is a very useful optional paper. It is in out of 500 marks, you can also, definitely as an optional paper also, it's a good choice. But apart from that, public administration also contributes to GS paper. As I told you that in GS2, there is a polity and governance paper. Okay, that is a polity and governance paper. But students do not get good marks in a GS2 paper. Why? What was the reason? Because they write answers in a political dimensions. They are not writing in implementing dimensions. That is a administration view in the GS2 paper. And that is why when you will get command of public administration, you will definitely get at least 100 marks in the GS2 paper. Because you would be able to put those concepts of public administration in GS2 paper, that is a polity and governance paper, that would be certainly beneficial. And apart from that, it is also linked with the other topics like disaster management is a common topic in the public administration, and it is a common topic in with the GS3 paper. In GS3 also the disaster management is there. In GS3 paper, there is an internal security section. In public administration also, we talk about some things like law and order situation, etc. We also, in police reforms, etc., we talk about these things. If economics, you will say, there is in GS3 paper, there is a topic of budgeting, if you will see your syllabus. In public administration also, we deal with the budgeting. There are so many topics which are common in the GS, in the public and the public administration. If I talk about the GS4 paper, the ethics paper, then in public administration, there is a topic of personnel administration. In personnel administration, we talk about the recruitment, we talk about the other things like values in the civil services, etc. And if you will see, the same topics are also mentioned in the paper of GS paper 4. The last two chapters that deals with the civil services and deals with the probity in the governance. The last two chapters that definitely very much linked with the public administration. Not only the last two chapters, in fact, in public administration, we read theories of the motivation, we read theories of morale, and again, these theories are very much useful in the GS4 paper. And apart from that, when you will get selected and when you will reach to Missouri to attend your foundational course, then also you will see that they are teaching you public administration. At that time also, you will feel free. And you can also top in Missouri because already your public administration concepts would be clear. In fact, in implementation also, when you were in a field and you are implementing, if you become civil servant, at field also, it will help. Public administration will help you. And last but not the least, UPSC may consider in future to do away with this optional paper. And they will introduce one more GS paper, and that would contain the syllabus from the public administration only. That is a certain. So definitely, because some of you are writing exam after maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe at that time, the public administration could be a full-fledged GS paper in your syllabus. In that way also, it is worth to take this optional paper. Now, if we will talk about the syllabus of public administration, as I told you that there are two papers, paper 1 and paper 2. And in the final examination, you will write two papers on the same day. In morning shift, you will give a paper 1 for 3 hours. And in the evening shift, you will attempt a paper 2nd for 3 hours. That is a scheme. So there is a separate syllabus for the paper 1 and paper 2. A paper 1 is basically a theoretical part, and paper 2 is basically this more of practical implementation of these theories or the real administration. In every kind of optional paper, if you are taking sociology also, then also they have divided like that. Paper 1 is a theoretical portion and paper 2 is applied. But a clear distinction we cannot make. Why I'm saying so? Because as in ethics, we have seen that in theory portion, we use some case studies. In case studies, we use some theories. Likewise, there should be some kind of interconnectivity between the paper 1 and paper 2. If you would get a command in that kind of interconnectivity, if you could able to use examples in the theory portion and in the paper 2nd portion, if you could able to use the thinkers or the theories that we are reading in the paper 1, definitely you will earn more marks. Now we'll see the, first of all, we'll take a glimpse of this syllabus. First of all, paper 1, as I told you that it is about the administrative theory, because it's a theory part. And And so first chapter is about the introduction of the discipline. What is the meaning of public administration, and what is the scope, significance of public administration, and some concepts like Woodrow Wilson's of public administration, evolution of the discipline, NPA, public choice approach, etc. Then in second chapter, we read thinkers, various thinkers, classical thinkers, we read behavioral thinkers, we read thinkers of human relations, etc. So these are the core thinkers which we read, as we read in the ethics paper. And then there is administrative behavior, in which read the theories like motivation, morale, etc. And the fourth chapter is around organizations, in which we will read these departments, corporation, companies, boards, and commissions. If you will see the GS2 paper, then GS2 paper, these things are very common. In GS2 paper also, we read the organizations like regulatory commissions, etc. It's also part of GS2 paper. And definitely, like regulatory authorities, these kind of things definitely are also asked in GS2 paper. In fact, I can tell you that if you will see the previous questions, it is very much happens that they took some previous year questions from the public administration and they put in the GS2 paper. It happens. The same question, they repeat the same question from the public administration and they insert in the GS2 paper. This kind of things happened in the past, and still it is happening. So organizations, definitely it has very much linkage with the GS2 paper, and the accountability and control. In fact, in GS2 also we talked about the accountability, sit-in charter, etc. There is a part of GS2 and GS4 as well, right to information, social audit, civil society, etc. We read in the GS2 paper. These things, role of media, interest groups, pressure groups, etc. All these things we read in GS2 paper. So these things are very much common with the GS2 paper. And then administrative law. It's a little bit separate topic, and we'll see what is administrative law. And then comparative public administration. Again, it's a some kind of, you can say it's a unique topic for the public administration. But yes, we can use the concept of comparative public administration in the GS section. In what way we can use, I will tell you. And then the development dynamics. This is basically about the development administration and the various development theories we will read. Again, these kind of things like self-help group, etc., women in development, all these things are again a part of your GS only. Impact of liberalization on administration, again it is a part of GS2 paper. So there's so many things which are common with the GS. And then personal administration, this is completely related with the ethics paper also, and in other parts also, like GS2 also, you can link a few things like grievance redressal mechanism, code of conduct, administrative ethics, etc. And then just a second. And then if you talk about the public policy, although it's a theoretical portion, but it's the concept of public policy and of public administration can be again linked with the GS2 paper. And then techniques of administrative improvement. You can say it is a little bit specific topic for the public administration. But yes, you can use in answer writing if some kind of question comes in the essay or the GS2 paper. Few concepts definitely can be used in the GS paper again. Then financial administration. This is very much important. A few topics are common with the GS3 paper, like budgeting, process of budget. What is the meaning of public borrowings and public debt budgets? Monetary and fiscal policies, financial accountability, accounts and audit. All these things are very much common with the GS2 and GS3 paper. So this is basically paper 1. And if we'll talk about the paper 2, that is Indian administration. The first topic is the evolution of Indian administration. Basically, there are 3 things that we'll read in the first chapter. In the evolution of Indian administration, we'll read about the Arthashastra, Kautilya, what he said, what kind of administration he talked about in ancient India. So one thinker they took from the ancient India. because this is paper second is related to the Indian administration. That is why we took the Indian thinkers and the Indian administration. And then second thing they took from the Mughal period. So what kind of administration was there in the Mughal period? And then finally, they have seen that what kind of administration developed by the Britishers. And as we know that the administration that we have in present is a legacy of the British India only. In fact, the acts, various acts that we have read in the polity paper, like Regulating Act, etc., all these acts would be useful in this particular thing. In history also, we read all these things. And definitely, modern history, if you are reading these topics, definitely some questions are asked in the modern history in the paper GS1, where they have asked about these kind of things. In prelim also, they asked these kind of things. Various committees and commissions that were formed in the British India, they have asked in prelim exam also. So definitely, when you read this kind of administration, what kind of administration was there in British India, it would be related with the modern history as well as it will be related with the polity paper. And then second chapter is on the philosophical and constitutional framework of government. So we'll read the basic principles of constitution. We'll read about the political culture. Political culture you can use in the GS2 paper also. There it would be very much useful. Then bureaucracy and democracy and bureaucracy and development. All these things are important. What are the salient features of value premises of constitution? What is the meaning of constitutionalism? For example, in GS2 paper, there was a question on constitutionalism, but the students who were not aware about the public administration could not write a good answer about the constitutionalism in the GS2 paper. But students who took the public administration paper could write very good answer in GS2 paper about the constitutionalism. So questions are repeated. Time and again, they had taken the questions from public administration to put in the GS2 paper. And then public sector undertaking again is a part of GS2 paper. What are the issues with the public sector undertakings? And then the union government and administration. All these things maximum things we have read. We will read in GS2 executive, parliament, judiciary, functions, all these things we also read in the GS2 paper. Then intergovernmental relations like central and state government relations, center-state relations, between the state relations, state versus state government relations. And these kind of things also we have covered in the polity part. And cabinet secretariat, PMO, central secretariat, ministries and departments, board, commissions, some of these topics are mentioned in the GS2 paper, if you will see. Then plans and priorities. It is talking about the basically planning in the India, but as you know that now there is no planning commission. So I think UPSC need to revise their syllabus, because this machinery of planning and the role of planning commission, this is not needed right now. Why? Because planning commission has been abolished. Now Niti Aayog has been created, but still they have not omitted this particular topic from the syllabus. But still we will read it in detail. So what was the planning approach before this introduction of Niti Aayog, and now what difference we have created. Again, all these things we have also read in the polity. And then state government administration, union state administrative, legislative, financial relations, role of finance commission, all these things, governor, chief minister, all these things we have read in the polity paper also, as you know. Then district administration, since independence, in which we read about the district collector, the role of district collector, and the various state and local relations, etc. And we also talk about the democratic decentralization. Then civil services. Now, if you will see, these two chapters are common in the paper 1 and paper 2. And that is why we will read at, one topic, that is personal administration of paper 1 is linked with the civil services of the paper 2. Likewise, the financial administration of paper 1 is linked with the financial management in the paper 2. So we'll read it collectively. Okay, दो बार इसको नहीं पढ़ेंगे हम लोग, because काफी चीजें पेपर 1 और पेपर 2 में भी चीजें कुछ कॉमन है, जैसे कि खासकर पर्सनल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और फाइनेंशियल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, तो हम इसको क्लब करके पढ़ेंगे. जो कि आपको पेपर 1 में भी काम आएगा, पेपर 2 में भी काम आएगा. And then administrative reforms since independence. Major concerns, various committees and commissions that were formed. These committees and commissions are very important because its recommendations, if you are using in your answer writing, and not only in public administration, in GS also, if you are using the recommendations of various committees and commissions, it would be very beneficial. Like the Punchi Commission, Sarkaria Commission, like the various national commission, administrative reform commissions. There are so many committees and commissions which you can use in your answer writing. And then there is a chapter on the rural development. Again, in GS2, if you will see, there is a topic of Panchayati Raj. What are the issues with the Panchayati Raj? What is the meaning of the urban local government? All these things we also deal with the GS2 paper. Then lower down order administration. This you can relate with the GS3 paper, internal security. Some few things you can link. For example, there is a mention of the insurgents, terrorism, criminalization, politics, etc. Definitely, it could be used in the counterfeit, countering insurgency and etc. And these things are basically related with the internal security of GS3. And last but not the least, significant issues in Indian administration, like regulatory commissions, NHRC, problems in administration, coalition regimes, city and administration interface, corruption and administration, disaster management. Again, all these topics are also mentioned in the GS part. So by seeing this syllabus, you can definitely say that there are so many things common in the GS paper and the public administration. But yes, there are some differences also. That means there are certain things which are only used, which are only meant for the public administration. So we'll cover everything, and maybe you can think that in paper 1 there are 12 chapters, in paper 2 there are 14 chapters. So you may think that this syllabus is very large. You may think that public administration syllabus is very large. First of all, you can, as I told you, that 2 chapters like personal administration and financial administration are common in paper 1 and paper 2. We will read it collectively. Secondly, this syllabus of public administration is treated as very short compared to the other optional papers. If you are taking geography or any other optional paper like the law or engineering subject, science subject, or any other optional paper, so definitely you will find the syllabus of other optional paper is very large. Yes, there are optional papers like anthropology, sociology, they have a smaller syllabus, but you can certainly say public administration has a small syllabus. Okay, it's not a large. You can easily revise. If your concepts are clear, you can easily revise things. So it is better than adopting the geography, etc., because geography has very large syllabus. So if you compare to other humanities subject, then also public administration you will find at edge. So we'll start from the very first chapter, that is the introduction. And we'll see what is the meaning of public administration. So first of all, our topic is the meaning of public administration. We will understand what is public administration, then only we will proceed further. So you can start with meaning of public administration. So you can put a heading, meaning of public administration. Just a second. So here you can write that if you will see these 2 words, public administration, obviously this word public administration is made up of 2 words. So public administration is made up of 2 words. One is public and second is administration. So to understand about this public administration, we will understand what is administration, what is the meaning of public here. Then only you will get to know that what is the meaning of public administration. So for that, first of all, we will understand what is the meaning of administration. इसके बारे में लिखो आप लोग. It obtained from Latin word. It obtained from Latin word administrate. Administrate, meaning to serve, comma, to care for. You can see it on whiteboard how you need to write it. To serve को आपको inverted commas में करना है, to care for को आपको भी आपको inverted commas में करना है, और to look after people, or to look after people, or to look after people. So what we are saying that administration means to take care of people, to serve, to take care of the people. So that is the administration. So in administration, because if you will further divide administration, it can be divided into add plus ministration, ministrate. And what is the meaning of add? Help. Management of administrate means management. That means we are helping the people, and for that we need management. That kind of definition you can create out of this word administration. So इसके बारे में लिख सकते हो. So administration is also means the management of affairs. Management of affairs. It is also can be called activities of groups, cooperating to accomplish common goals. In other words, every group activity involves administration. Every group activity involves administration. So what we are saying that there should be a common goal. There should be a group of people who are working to achieve this common goal. So this group activity to achieve common goals is basically can be called as administration. We can write one more feature about the administration, that is it practiced by all kind of organizations. All kind of organizations. From the household to the most complex system of government. So this administration obviously practiced by some organization, but organization could be a small and it could be a large. Organization could be a simple or it could be a complex. But we take an example. For example, if there are two students who are pulling a furniture, suppose a table, who are pulling a table together. So can we call it as an administration? Yes, anybody? If two students pulling a table together, can we call it as an administration?
Yes, sir.
How?
They have common goal.
They have common goal, okay. And you can say, you are saying that it is a group activity, right? But
Yes.
but it is not a administration. It's not a administration. And why it's not administration, we will see. If you want to see whether the thing is administration or not, I will give you some conditions. If those conditions are satisfied, then you can certainly can say that this is an administration. So पहले example note कर लेते हैं हम लोग. For example, two students pulling furniture together. Second example, thieves engaged in breaking of safe are not the examples of administration. Not the examples of administration. Because as a third feature, I made you write that we also need organization. Without organization, there is no administration. So organization is a prerequisite for to have an organization, to have a to have administration. Okay. So इसमें लिखो what we require or conditions. First is collective activity. Second is rational organization. And third is management of men and material. If these three conditions are satisfied, you can say an activity is administration. So in last two examples, it was a collective activity. It was a management of men and material by two students, by two people. But rational organization was not available. And that is why these two, the examples that we have stated were not the example of administration. So ये तीन चीजें आप लोग याद रख सकते हो. Now few thinkers gave different dimensions for administration. So we'll see what are those definitions that were given by the different thinkers. So you can put a heading, definitions. So first definition said, inverted commas में लिखो आप लोग, administration can be defined as the activity of group. Administration can be defined as the activity of group cooperating to accomplish common goals. inverted commas closed. And this statement or this definition was given by Herbert Simon. H. Simon, that means Herbert Simon. So these definitions are basically related to the definitions of administration. Okay, याद रखना आप लोग, ये definition जो हम लिख रहे हैं ये administration की definition है. Again, यदि आप ये हर्बर्ट साइमन की definition भी देखोगे तो what he said the activities of group word use किए इन्होंने. He said the common goal, cooperating for a common goal, these things he used. A second definition लिखते हैं हम लोग, inverted commas में लिखो again. Administration is the organization and direction of humans and material resources to achieve desired ends. And this statement was given by, this definition was given by J.M. Fifner. J.M. Fifner. Now you can write down the third definition. Inverted commas में लिखो again. Administration is the organization. Administration is the organization and use of men and materials. Administration is the organization and use of men and materials. MEN, men and materials, to accomplish a purpose. Administration is the organization and use of men and materials to accomplish a purpose. Inverted commas closed. And this definition was given by E.A. Nigro. Fourth definition you can write. The art of administration is the direction, coordination, and control of many persons to achieve some purpose or objective. Again, this statement was given by L.D. White. So in all these four definitions, if you will see, like if we talk about the J.M. Fifner's definition, administration is the organization and the directions of human and material resources to achieve desired ends. Again, similar. He used the word organization. He used the word human and management of human and material resources. He used the word desire end. Desired end means nothing but a goal. If you will see third definition, administration is the organization and use of men and materials to accomplish a purpose. Again, similar. Fourth is the art of administration is the direction, coordination, and control of many persons. Many persons means group activity to achieve some purpose or objective, a common goal. So by all these definitions, we can make an inference that three things we are needed in administration that I made you write: collective activity, rational organization, And third one is the management of man and material. So these three things are needed to complete the definition of administration. Now, administration is a generic word which is used by public as well as the private organizations. As till now we have understood that administration belongs to organization. Without our organization, there is no administration. So first of all, if you want to make an administration, if you want to proceed with the administration, what we needed first? We needed first organization. Once we have created organization, then we deal with the administration. And now if we'll see these organizations, organization could be private, organization could be public. In the private organizations, the administration would be private administration. In the public organization, administration would be public administration. So you can again write administration. इसको आप लोग इस तरह से बना लो जैसे मैं बना रहा हूँ. Can be divided into two part, private and public. Public administration. And private administration. So private administration you can see in clubs, in associations, like union, the trade unions, etc., or company, or factory, etc. In all these organizations, you can find private administration, but public administration you can find in the activities of local, state, and central government, or any other agency which belongs to government. Now we'll write the features of public administration. Features of public administration. So we have seen that administration can be divided into private administration and public administration. Administration contains the look after of the people and the management of the affairs. But there are certain difference between the private administration and public administration. Now we write down the features of public administration. इसमें लिखो आप लोग. It is government in action. It is government in action. Why I am saying, what is the meaning of this word, government in action? Anybody? What is the meaning of government in action? What inference you can make out of this statement, government in action? Basically, government in action means we are focusing on the implementation part. There is one role of the government, that is the formulation of the policies. That is, but that role is executed by the political executives. They provide their ideas, they provide their values, they provide their policies to administration. And then what is the role of administration? To implement those policies. And because the role of public administration is the implementation of the policies, and that is why it can be called government in action. That you can see in your practical life. If you are roaming around the streets, and if you can see that a police officer is there or traffic policeman is there, then means that government is in action. That means that these persons are bureaucrats. These persons are belong to public administration. If you go to municipality or any other institution, then also you will encounter with the people who are serving the people. Again, by watching these people, you can say that government is in action. That is a different thing, that most of the time the government becomes inactive. That is a different thing. But yes, government in action means we are dealing with the implementation part. So now next is the non-political, next feature of public administration, that it is non-political bureaucratic machinery. Bureaucratic machinery of the government. Machinery of the government. One thing I would recommend to all of you, that do not hesitate to ask your doubt, because public administration, it's an optional paper. Few things are very deep to understand. Okay, so you cannot afford to keep your doubt. Okay, doubts clear करते रहना आप लोग साथ के साथ, भले कितना आपको लगे कि सिली डाउट है, फिर भी आप लोग पूछ सकते हो. ओके, बिकॉज नो डाउट इज सिली, हमको ऐसा लगता है. सो वट एवर, जो भी आपको चीजें बीच में आपको नहीं समझ में आए तो उसका आप लोग पूछ लेना. Now, secondly, we said that it is a non-political bureaucratic machinery of the government. As we know, we are talking about the permanent, the officials. We are talking about the bureaucrats. Then it deals with the public interests. It deals with public interests and laws. So these bureaucrats or public administrators work for the public interests, as well as they follow the law of the land. Apart from that, it concerned with policy execution. Policy execution. Policies are formed by the political leaders, political executives, and these policies are executed or implemented by the public administrators. That is why it is concerned with the policy execution. It covers all three branches of government. What three branches we are talking about? Three branches of government. Yes. Or in other words, you can say the three organs of government.
Legislature, executive, and judiciary.
Right. Executive, legislature, and judiciary. These three organs or these three branches we are talking about. Three branches of government. So it covers, as I said you that I'm asking about three organs of government, तो आपका आंसर आ गया. When I asked about three branches of government, you didn't answer. So ऐसा नहीं करना, थोड़ा सा आप लोगों को देखना है कि organs और branches में ज़्यादा difference नहीं है. Okay. So now next. So next point. So what we said that it covers all three branches of government, although it tends to be concentrated in the executive branch. In the executive branch. इसको आप लोग कैसे justify कर सकते हो that this public administration presents in all these three organs or all these three branches. लेजिस्लेचर, एग्जीक्यूटिव, जुडिशरी। यस, कैसे इसको आप जस्टिफाई करोगे स्टेटमेंट को कि एग्जीक्यूटिव में भी पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन देखने को मिलेगा आपको, लेजिस्लेचर में भी और जुडिशरी में भी? हाउ इट कुड हैपन? यस, एनीबॉडी?
So public administrators act as advisor to the legislatures.
Okay, and what about judiciary? Yes, anybody? So what we इसको थोड़ा समझते हैं हम लोग। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इज एवरीवेयर। ऐसा कोई भी प्लेस नहीं है, ऐसी कोई भी जगह भी नहीं है जहां पर पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ना देखने को मिले आपको, वेदर इज एग्जीक्यूटिव, वेदर इज लेजिस्लेचर, वेदर इज जुडिशरी। But it is more prominent, it is more visible in the executives, and that is why sometimes we say that it deals with the executive part only. It deals with the only one organ, that is executive. But it is not so. It deals with all these three organs. How? इन लेजिस्लेचर जैसे मैं बोलता हूँ, लेजिस्लेचर वर्ड बोला मैंने, आपके दिमाग में क्या आया होगा? पार्लियामेंट आई होगी, लाइक लोकसभा, राज्यसभा या स्टेट असेंबली, विधानसभा। ऑल दिस थिंग्स मे बी कम इनटू योर माइंड। तो जैसे ये आप लोग, हम पार्लियामेंट की बात करें, सो पार्लियामेंट इज ए फुल ऑफ पॉलिटिकल एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, जो भी एमपीज इलेक्ट होके आए हैं, सो वो दिखते हैं आप लोगों को। लेकिन आपको कभी पार्लियामेंट सेक्रेटरीट नहीं दिखता। ओके, पार्लियामेंट सेक्रेटरीट। आप लोग कभी डिबेट देखना लोकसभा चैनल पे या राज्यसभा चैनल पे, व्हेन देयर इज ए सेशन ऑफ लाइक क्वेश्चन आवर, तो पता लगता है कि एक जो भी पॉलिटिकल एग्जीक्यूटिव को बोल रहा है, द स्पीकर, सडनली one person comes and give him one particular slip. तो उस स्लिप को देखता है, उसको पढ़ता है, उसके बाद अपना आंसर करता है। तो स्लिप कहां से आई, किसने भेजी? ऑब्वियसली दैट स्लिप केम फ्रॉम द ब्यूरोक्रेट। एक मैंने छोटा सा एग्जांपल दिया आप लोगों को। So each and every affair of the parliament is managed by the bureaucrats, first of all. Apart from that, लेजिस्लेचर का जो भी लेजिस्लेटर्स हैं, उनका काम क्या है? पॉलिसी बनाना, लॉ बनाना। But who will give inputs to these political executives? Political executives are illiterate also. So what is the brain behind these policies? It is the brain of bureaucrats only. Bureaucrats give, political executives only give the will. Political executives क्या प्रोवाइड करते हैं? विल। मान लीजिए नरेंद्र मोदी ने आज कह दिया कि सबके बैंक अकाउंट्स होने चाहिए, बस इतना ही बोलेंगे वो। But how would it would be possible? That would be decided by the bureaucrats. So here is the role of bureaucrats. So political executives only provide the will. So rest task is given to the bureaucrats. In judiciary, if you will see, in judiciary, although there is no direct role of bureaucrats in judiciary, but yes, indirect role. There are offices also in various courts, and they have their own kind of secretariat also. Courts, not secretariat exactly, but they have their officials also. These officials assist the justice, they assist the judges in keeping their records, and whenever judge demands any record, they provide them. Every kind of thing the judge needs, assistance that a judge or justice need, is provided by the bureaucrats. So bureaucratic machinery is, although it linked with the all three branches of the government, but it is more prominent in the executive branch. It is more linked with the executive branch, you can say. Okay, this is the concept. इसके में आगे लिखो आप लोग, next feature. It provides regulatory provides regulatory and service functions. It provides regulatory and service functions to the people. Regulatory and service functions to the people in order to attain, and service functions to the people in order to attain good life. It provides regulatory and service functions to the people in order to attain good life. In order to attain good life. देखो मैंने दो वर्ड यूज किए हैं स्टेटमेंट में. एक मैंने वर्ड यूज किया रेगुलेटरी फंक्शन, एक मैंने वर्ड यूज किया सर्विस फंक्शन. दोनों में कोई डिफरेंशिएट कर सकता है क्या कुछ एग्जांपल देके कि रेगुलेशन फंक्शंस जैसे ब्यूरोक्रेट है या पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर है, वो एक ऑन वन साइड ही विल परफॉर्म हिज रेगुलेटरी फंक्शन, ऑन अदर साइड a public administrator perform its service functions. So what is the differentiation? Anybody? Anybody? What kind of functions can be called regulatory functions and what kind of functions can be called service functions? It's not that tough. Yes. So basically, what we are saying in regulatory functions means we are regulating people. We are restricting people in some way. For example, law and order of bureaucrat is a regulatory function. Because law and order maintain करने के लिए हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे? देखिए, व्हीकल की स्पीड ज्यादा नहीं होनी चाहिए. There should not be a violence, there should not be a crime. हम कुछ उनको रोकेंगे किसी काम को करने के लिए, उनको रेगुलेट करेंगे कि ये काम इस तरह से होना चाहिए. ट्रैफिक सिग्नल की बात करें, सो ग्रीन सिग्नल पे होने के बाद ही आप मूव कर सकते हो. दैट मीन्स वी आर रेगुलेटिंग पीपल. कुछ सर्विस प्रोवाइड की क्या हम लोगों ने, हम लोगों को सर्विस तो प्रोवाइड की है, बट यस इट्स ए काइंड ऑफ रेगुलेटरी सर्विस एंड नॉट अदर काइंड ऑफ सर्विस. सो इट इज मोर ऑफ रेगुलेटरी फंक्शन. दैट मीन्स वी आर रेगुलेटिंग दी पीपल. एंड सर्विस फंक्शन की बात करें, मान लीजिए अभी किसी को बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए एंड they moved to the municipal authorities, and then municipal authorities are releasing the birth certificate. That means it was a service function. It's not a regulatory function. So I hope आप लोगों को क्लियर हो गया होगा कि what is the difference between the regulatory function and the service function. Service function में हम कुछ लोग उनको प्रोवाइड करते हैं, कुछ देते हैं उनको. रेगुलेटरी फंक्शन में उनको रोकते हैं कि ये काम ऐसे नहीं करना. ओके, दैट वे. सो नेक्स्ट पॉइंट लिखो, it differs significantly from private administration. It differs significantly from private administration, comma, especially in its emphasis on the public. Especially in its emphasis on the public. So private administration differs from the public administration. We will see what is the difference between the private administration and public administration. ये हम लोग डिटेल में करने वाले हैं इस टॉपिक को. बट अभी ब्रीफली आप लोग ये देख लो कि पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में ये वर्ड मेंशन्ड है, पब्लिक. दैट मींस वी विल टॉक अबाउट द कलेक्टिव वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल in public administration. In private administration, we will see the welfare of the one particular individual, or we will seek for the maximum profit. That's it. But in public administration, what kind of thing is there? Welfare. That means we are concerned with the welfare of the people. Next लिखो. Next point. It is interdisciplinary in nature. Interdisciplinary in nature means it draws upon other social sciences like political science, economics, and sociology. So public administration as a discipline, that means public administration as a academic subject, is interdisciplinary in nature. In this subject, in this discipline, in public administration, you will see that will take concepts from the various other social sciences like sociology, like political science, like economics. For example, there is a topic of public choice theory. अब ये पब्लिक चॉइस थ्योरी आप लोग इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़ते हो, और ये पब्लिक चॉइस थ्योरी को हम लोगों ने यूज कर लिया पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. So in that way, this public administration as a discipline or as an academic subject is interdisciplinary in nature because it draws various concepts from the other social sciences. So भी नेक्स्ट लिखना आप लोगों को पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, इसको ऐसे लिखो जैसे अभी देख लो आप लोग. Public administration can be seen as an activity, and public administration is also seen as an academic discipline. It is age-old phenomena. It is age-old phenomena, and it is modern phenomena. It is modern phenomena. इसका मतलब समझो आप लोग. जब भी पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की बात करता हूं मैं, तो एक तुम सोच सकते हैं कि हम एक सब्जेक्ट है, एक पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एक पर्टिकुलर डिसिप्लिन है या सब्जेक्ट है जिसको हम लोगों ने पढ़ना है. एक तो एकेडमिक तरीके से सोच सकते हैं हम लोग, या फिर पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वर्ड को सुनते हुए हमारे दिमाग में क्या आएगा, गवर्नमेंट इन एक्शन, या हम पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को एज एन एक्टिविटी कंसीडर कर सकते हैं. सो एज एन एक्टिविटी, if you are seeing the public administration as an activity, then it is very old. It is as old as the civilization itself, or you can say the human itself, because when the civilization started forming, when people started living in groups, they started forming various organizations. They had their collective goal, they have their group efforts, and they had their own one kind of institution or organization. So definitely, as an activity, this public administration is as old as civilization. But as a discipline, is a new phenomena. यदि आप हम लोग 1800 में चले जाएं या 70th 80th सेंचुरी, 19th सेंचुरी, 70th सेंचुरी, इन सेंचुरीज में चले जाएं हम लोग, इस तरह का यूनिवर्सिटीज में या कॉलेजेस में कोई डिसिप्लिन होता ही नहीं था. अभी भी आप लोग देखो कि कॉलेजेस में जाओ यदि आप लोग, तो पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन डिसिप्लिन हर कॉलेज में नहीं मिलेगा आप लोगों को. Why? Because this is a new discipline to read. Political science की बात करें हम लोग, it's very old discipline, or any other discipline if we'll talk about. But public administration as a subject or as a discipline is a new phenomena. Okay. सो इसमें लिखो आप लोग नेक्स्ट लाइन से, द ओरिजिन एंड इवोल्यूशन, द ओरिजिन, नेक्स्ट लाइन से लिखो, द ओरिजिन एंड इवोल्यूशन of public administration as a distinctive subject can be traced from can be traced from 1887 onwards, can be traced from 1887 onwards, 1887 onwards. So what special happened in 1887? Because we consider this year, the year of 1887, as a start of the new discipline that is called public administration. So what happened in this particular year, so that we are calling that public administration as a discipline has been originated or evolved. So next line se likho, Woodrow Wilson published. Who was Woodrow Wilson? Anybody? Who was this person, Woodrow Wilson? ये वर्ड हम लोग यूज कर चुके हैं, कब यूज किया था हम लोगों ने? यस, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री।
He was a US president.
यूएस प्रेसिडेंट। और हम लोगों ने कब यूज किया था इसको वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री में? कहां पर यूज किया था हम लोगों ने? एनीबॉडी? ओके, सो यू नीड टू रिवाइज योर नोट्स। हमने वुडरो विल्सन का यूज किया था वर्ड को जब लीग ऑफ नेशंस की बात की थी हम लोगों ने। लीग ऑफ नेशंस याद है आपको? लीग ऑफ नेशंस क्या था? एनीबॉडी? व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ लीग ऑफ नेशंस?
It was the organization formed after the World War I in
Right.
1918.
Right. So it was the organization, League of Nations, which were formed after the World War I. But this organization was failed organization. In fact, the USA also not joined League of Nations, and that is why United Nations was formed after the Second World War. That would replace the League of Nations. So League of Nations को बनाने के लिए वुडरो विल्सन उन्होंने एक सोल्यूशन भी प्रोवाइड किया था, वुडरो विल्सन ने। ओके, so Woodrow Wilson played a dominant role in the creation of this League of Nations. Okay, तो उस टाइम हम लोगों ने इस वर्ड को यूज किया था, इफ यू रिमेंबर। ओके, सो इसमें लिखो आप लोग 1887 onwards, इसमें नेक्स्ट लाइन में लिखो, वुडरो विल्सन पब्लिश्ड his seminal essay with the title The Study of Administration. So Woodrow Wilson, before he became president, he was a good scholar. And after that, he became president. But first of all, he was a scholar, and then he became president. Okay. So his seminal essay with the title "The Study of Administration" in the Political Science Quarterly. In the Political Science Quarterly. In the Political Science Quarterly. So what we are saying that Woodrow Wilson published his essay with the title The Study of Administration in the Political Science Quarterly. And this was the event when people started thinking about the new discipline that was called public administration. After reading his essay, The Study of Administration, that was published by the Woodrow Wilson in the Political Science Quarterly, then only the people came to know about the seriousness of reading about this new discipline. And after Woodrow Wilson published his essay, then there were some more efforts from other scholars also to talk about with this new topic of administration. नेक्स्ट लाइन से लिखो आप लोग. In India, good literature was existed. In India, good literature was existed. In India, good literature was existed for administration. For administration, even before 1887. Even before 1887. कोई बता सकता है किस लिटरेचर की बात कर सकते हैं हम लोग यहाँ पे? If you are saying that literature was also available in India about administration even before this essay of this Woodrow Wilson. Any example you can give? Specifically for those students who have read history, ancient history.
Arthashastra.
Right. Arthashastra. Any other example?
Manusmriti.
Manusmriti is basically law book. It was not about the administration actually. Any other example? Any other example? So write down. नेक्स्ट लाइन से लिखो आप लोग. कौटिल्या's अर्थशास्त्र. कौटिल्या's अर्थशास्त्र is the oldest text. Is the oldest text on public administration. In public administration. It covered topics like hierarchy, bureaucracy, corruption, territorial division, of state, coordination, land revenue, taxation, etc. So all these problems of the administration, like hierarchy, like bureaucracy, corruption, territorial division of state, coordination, land revenue, etc. All these things were discussed by Kautilya in very detailed manner in Arthashastra. So definitely we can say that in India, Arthashastra was the first textbook on public administration. So next line se likho. Kautilya called for science of public administration. Kautilya called for science of public administration. Kautilya called for science of public administration. But most of his conceptions about the science of administration, were limited to his times. As a result, comma, it failed to attain. As a result, it failed to attain a universal recognition. It failed to attain a universal recognition. It failed to attain a universal recognition. So what we said that although Kautilya wrote many things about the administration, but his principles, his theories were limited to his times. Because at that time there was a monarchy, there was a king rule. So whatever principles, whatever things he described in administration that were more useful for the monarchy, it was less useful for the democratic kind of political structure. That is modern political structure. So this is the thing, and this is it with this class. और next class में हम लोग और example देखेंगे. Indian writing on the public administration, like this Aine Akbari. Aine Akbari mentioned about the Mughal administration. Okay, who wrote, by the way, who wrote Aine Akbari? Anybody who read history? Aine Akbari किसने लिखी थी?
Abu Fazl,
right. So यहाँ से हम लोग start करेंगे और हम लोग और भी चीजें देखेंगे इसमें, that like nature of public administration, etc. All these things we will see in next class. Okay. If you have any doubt regarding today's class, you can ask me. Yes, anything you want to ask? और इसको हम लोग 1.5 hour की क्लास भी कर सकते हैं. ओके, तो आप लोग प्रिपेयर होके आना. यदि आप लोग को थोड़ा सा जल्दी भूख लग जाती है तो आप लोग कुछ थोड़ा सा रखना मील अपने साथ, या आप लेकर के आना मील. But we can, because we can take the class as long as for the 1.5 hours also. And apart from that, on Sunday there would be a prelim test. Okay, जिन्होंने prelim, 2 prelim test होंगे इस संडे. एक तो उनके लिए जिनको जो रेगुलर स्टूडेंट्स हैं और जिनको क्लास टेस्ट सीरीज, आई मीन जिनको क्लास टेस्ट सीरीज मिलेगी. ओके, उसमें आप लोगों का जितना भी हम लोगों ने पढ़ाया अभी तक हिस्ट्री एंड पॉलिटी में, ओके, हिस्ट्री एंड पॉलिटी पार्ट में जितना हम लोगों ने पढ़ा है अभी तक, वो सब आएगा आपके एग्जाम में. दैट वुड बी पार्ट ऑफ क्लास टेस्ट सीरीज. एंड वी आल्सो स्टार्टेड द फुल टेस्ट सीरीज. तो वो उनके लिए जिन्होंने वो चीजें पढ़ रखी हैं. ओके, तो उसके लिए एक सेपरेट प्रीलिम टेस्ट होगा. And I will send you your login details, okay, because we have created the login page for you to attend various test series, और maybe हम लोग mains test series को भी हम वहीं पर shift कर देंगे. So whenever you enter in your own page, profile page, you could able to see the various tests. Okay, जैसे आपका टेस्ट अपलोड हो जाएगा और आपके पास मैसेज भी आ जाएगा on your mail as well as your mobile number which you have given to me in your admission form. Okay, तो उसके आपके मैसेज आ जाएगा आपके पास कि ये टेस्ट अपलोड हो गए, इसको टेस्ट को आप लोग दे दो. एंड टेस्ट विल बी ऑनलाइन. जैसे प्रीलिम टेस्ट उसमें टाइमर होगा. ओके, दैट यू नीड टू सी. लाइक जैसे कि इफ देयर आर 100 क्वेश्चंस देन द टाइम वुड बी 2 hours. एंड यू कैन आल्सो सबमिट बिफोर द कंप्लीशन ऑफ टाइम से कंप्लीट होने से पहले भी आप लोग सबमिट कर सकते हैं. एंड आफ्टर सबमिशन यू विल एबल टू सी योर रिजल्ट. लेकिन ऐसा हो सकता है कि आप लोगों ने पहले सबमिट कर दिया, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स बाद में सबमिट करेंगे. तो जैसे कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ने बाद में सबमिट किया है, मे बी कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ने अगले दिन दिया एग्जाम, तो वो रिजल्ट अपडेट हो जाएगा एंड देन यू विल सी योर रैंक ऑल्सो एंड यू विल गेट योर एनालिसिस ऑल्सो एंड आई विल ट्राई टू mark the questions with topics like जैसे ये questions history से है, ये question polity में है, and then you will able to see कि मेरे हिस्ट्री में कितना स्कोर आ रहा है, पॉलिटी में कितना स्कोर आ रहा है. इफ यू अटेंडेड द फुल टेस्ट सीरीज तो आपको ये सब चीजें भी देखने को मिलेंगी. ओके, यू कैन मेक ए बेटर एनालिसिस. जैसे क्लास टेस्ट सीरीज की बात करूं तो उसमें हम लोग हिस्ट्री, पॉलिटी एंड करंट अफेयर से कुछ क्वेश्चंस देने वाला हूं मैं. ओके, तो उसको आप लोग को प्रिपेयर करना है. टुमारो देयर वोंट बी एनी क्लास, ऑन संडे देयर वुड बी अ टेस्ट. ओके, and one more thing that I created is default user ID. User ID will be your email ID that you are given in my your admission form. और पासवर्ड आपको मिल जाएगा और उस पासवर्ड को आप लोग चेंज कर पाओगे अपने प्रोफाइल पेज पे जाके. आप लोग चेंज कर लेना when you will able to log in it. Okay, so today only you will get your login credentials. Okay, and on our website page also, this newacademy.com, if you will see, there will be a option students corner. तो उस पर यदि आप लोग जाओगे तो आप लोग का लॉगिन पेज ओपन हो जाएगा वहां से. ओके, सो दैट इज द थिंग. सो दिस इज द थिंग. एंड आपको एग्जाम देते टाइम या बीच में कोई कुछ डाउट आए तो आप लोग मेरे को कॉल कर सकते हो इफ यू हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ डाउट. ओके, सो दिस इज इट विद दिस क्लास एंड वी विल मीट ऑन मंडे एंड ऑन संडे देयर वुड बी अ टेस्ट. And I recommend you to prepare for the whole things that we have read in polity, history, as well as the current affairs. Okay.